Low Carb Kilby here, bringing you a reaction video. Today we're looking at The Real Reason I've Lost So Much Weight by Curtis Stone. So a little history lesson. Curtis Stone, I started watching on YouTube years ago. He was doing urban farming, and so I was getting into gardening and growing plants and eating plants and tomatoes, and I just thought it was interesting watching him on YouTube farming people's backyards, and now he's doing some off-grid with Curtis Stone. So I'm not sure what he's up to. I have no idea what I'm getting into here. I haven't watched any of his videos for a couple years, but the real reason why I've lost so much weight, and I thought I would just bring you along while I watch this and kind of react to it from after being on the carnivore diet for 7 months, and yeah, see what he did to lose weight. Probably low carb. That's my guess.
In this video, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Now, I don't like to make videos, generally speaking, where I talk about my personal life, but I feel like this subject could be helpful to people and it might inspire people to do something similar. A lot of people have asked me over the last year or so, really, how I've lost so much weight, because you can obviously see it. Like I'm actually in the best shape I've been in my in any recent memory. The best shape I was in was when I first started my farm back in 2009. Prior to that, I had been working as a tree planter in the mountains of British Columbia. It's a thing a lot of young Canadians do to put themselves through college. That's how I put myself through college and how I funded my quasi-music career for many years in Montreal. And I was in such good shape because I got so much damn exercise. Tree planting is hard-ass work. You're carrying, up to 200 pounds of weight in trees. You're climbing up hills, climbing over brush piles and slash piles. It's hard work. And it's really driven by your own motivation, because you have to just go at it every day and you only get paid for the amount of trees you plant. So I was in good shape prior to getting into farming, but I was a vegetarian then. And here's a funny image of me when I first started my farm. I did everything pedal powered. And so I carried on my physique, if you will, from the time I was tree planting, because going into farming, I was biking and pulling around my BCS rototiller. It was a lot of work, but I got a lot of good exercise from it. I was a vegetarian back then, though, which I'm not anymore, and I couldn't put on muscle mass like I can now, because we do eat, a balanced diet, but we do eat meat, and so that's part of where I'm at now. But that was kind of my context back then, and I gained like a lot of weight when I wrote my book. So prior to writing my book, I was putting out YouTube videos a little bit back in, I started really the new year of 2014. It might have actually been just prior to the new year in 2013, but I was putting out YouTube videos, still fairly in shape. But when I wrote
I wonder what he thinks a well-balanced diet is. Well, hopefully he tells us.
my book, I got a lot more requests to travel around the world and teach people about my urban farming. And that's fundamentally why I started to gain weight, because I was on airplanes so much. I was traveling around. It's hard to eat really well. Like it can be done for sure, but it's really hard to eat well when you're on the road all the time. And that's predominantly why I gained a lot of weight. I was producing all the videos myself. I was on a computer a lot and just traveling around. And so, yeah, I gained a lot of weight. And so when I was 28 years old, I weighed about 150, 160 pounds. And I went up
Nice
to
shorts.
just under 200 pounds, which for my size, I'm 5'10" height. That's overweight. And so I gained a lot of weight. But around the time my daughter was born in 2017, I started intermittent fasting. And I was doing this just because I had some friends that did it and really liked it. And I thought, I'm just going to try this and just see how it goes, And the first 2 weeks was hard with intermittent fasting. Anybody who does it will tell you that. But after that, I found that I really liked it. And it actually worked very well with my lifestyle. And I found that by not eating in the morning, my energy level was consistent throughout the day, and I didn't need to take naps. And Not that I haven't taken any naps ever, but it used to be a thing I did more of, and now I don't really have to take naps anymore. I find my energy level is
Naps.
consistent throughout the day. I find, and I cheat maybe once a week. I'll cheat. I'll have breakfast with the family once a week. And it's funny, as soon as I eat in the morning, I find that now I'm hungry throughout the day, and then I get really hungry before lunch. Whereas when I'm intermittent fasting, and intermittent fasting means that you don't eat breakfast essentially. At least this is what it is for me. I don't eat breakfast. But I find that my energy level is consistent throughout the day. And when I do eat lunch, I don't crash.
For people that do intermittent fasting, do you do like a 12, 18, 16? How long do you fast?
Back when I used to eat breakfast, I would eat lunch and then I would kind of want to take a nap. I'd be kind of tired. But with this diet, I don't get that way. And so my daily routine is basically we're up around, depends on the time of the year. We're certainly a seasonal family, but as we go into winter, I'm getting up a little bit later. But in the summertime, I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm at it. And all I have is a cup of coffee with butter in it. So I think
Butter.
there's a name for doing this kind of thing. I
Bulletproof.
don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. I put butter in my coffee and I blend it with a hand blender. I add a little bit of honey, and that's all I have until about 12 noon or 1 p.m. And then at that point, I'll have lunch. And sometimes lunch for me is really simple. It could be a smoothie, which is greens from the garden, um, frozen fruit, really simple. Sometimes I'll throw like a dollop of peanut butter in there, or like some walnuts or something like that, a little bit of protein. But for the most part, that's all it is. Or I'll have a salad that's just got, every kind of veggie that I like raw from the garden, diced greens, shredded carrots and beets, lots of fat dressing. I do like to put nuts and seeds in my salads. Sometimes I put bacon in my salads, but that's often what I have for lunch. And some
Why not
days I
always
don't even
bacon?
have lunch. And I've found that with intermittent fasting, I just get less hungry. And even when it's time for dinner, I'm hungry, but I don't feel famished. And so then for dinner, that's when I have my biggest meal of the day. So that's going to be a balanced meal with a good amount of protein, uh, some meat, some veggies, whatever, stuff from the garden. We don't produce all of our own meat here on the homestead yet. Maybe we'll get there. Who knows? It's a lot taken on this endeavor, but all the meat we do eat, and anything that we eat that isn't from our homestead, is local and organic. Now, it doesn't have to be certified organic, because I know any of the farmers that we buy from, and then I know how they're raising their animals or whatever. But that is exclusive. We do exclusively eat organic, fresh, and local. So if we can't produce it ourselves, that's the criteria that it has to be under. And then the other thing, which is probably the biggest thing, because people have commented mostly on my weight in the last couple of years, and the main reason for that is we bought this big piece of land, and when you're on a big piece of land, you have to move around more. So I'm getting more exercise than I've got in a long time. Basically, when I wrote my book and I stopped.
Yeah, sometimes the motivation for a goal will really help. Get you get you out and get you moving on things like that. Yeah. I just wonder how sustainable it's going to be if he's not eating all the time. He says he's eating the smoothies and nuts and all these things, but he lost the weight, so his body is burning the fat. So what happens when there's no more fat to burn? I wonder if he'll get depleted and deflated and just kind of hit a wall of energy.
Stopped running my urban farm by bike, I started to gain weight because I was on the road a lot and I wasn't cycling as much, so I wasn't getting as much
Also, I
exercise.
don't know if he's
And
having any
then
health issues.
that just kind of accumulated, and especially because I stopped commercially farming in 2018, and that's when I went more full on with going to different countries and speaking and consulting like that. And I wasn't really gaining weight then, but I wasn't losing it as fast as I did when I started getting exercise. So the intermittent fasting is really only one part of it. And that doesn't work for everybody. I know that. Like, there's no way my wife could do that. My kids don't do it. But it works well for me and my body type. Again, I don't know why, but it does. And so there's that. And then there's the exercise. On a homestead like this, everything is physical work. And that's what I want. I want a lifestyle with a lot of physical work because I want to live like a working class guy. I'm not a working class guy anymore. I make a living online. It's not a big secret. But I want to work. I want to chop firewood. I want to do the gardens. I want to build stuff. Like, I like working with my hands. And so because of that, and I get so much exercise, that's fundamentally why I've lost so much weight and how I am today. And I'm in better shape than I've been in at least 10 years. So
I mean, that's a good
it's a
point.
testament to that. If you guys find that content helpful, let me know. Any thoughts or comments, leave them below. Smash the like button if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't.
All right. Well, yeah, I was hoping he'd be like, yeah, I went on the carnivore diet or I went on a ketogenic diet. It's, my guess he's still lower on the sugars. He's probably cutting out the breads. And with the fasting, the intermittent fasting I've actually enjoyed in my life. And yeah, I just wonder how his diet would be going into the future. Like, I just wonder how it's going to turn out. Like, if he's going to find himself depleted in any way of nutrition because he's essentially putting out more calories than he's taking in, or the nutrient dense foods. He's not getting enough nutrient dense foods because a lot of times these smoothies and the nuts and all these types of things, it seems like it would be a healthy thing, but I know just from research online, a lot of times I've read that your body doesn't really absorb that stuff as efficiently as it would like a steak or a piece of bacon and things like that, or an egg. Like, yeah, the egg, I want to say the magic food. It's like the perfect food. But yeah, tell me if you like this low carb kill me video. Kill me out.